Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-host Cody Tanner. Cody, how are you on this fine Friday evening?
James, I'm doing all right, doing pretty decent. You know, just got home from work, took off my work clothes, literally didn't even put on other pants. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not wearing pants right now, but I'm ready to record this podcast and go back to work.
Wow.
Little unprofessional, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. Got to be quick.
You know what, Cody?
Got to be quick.
Here's the no pants Fridays.
I can't drink right now. I gotta go back to work.
Don't worry, it's just an energy drink.
Oh,
shout out to my brother-in-law Jason Smith for hooking me up with these.
Hey, there you go. Jason's little beefy boy.
Yeah, man.
Little beefy. I shouldn't say little.
He does all those beast on the bay. Yeah, he does all those beast on the bay challenges, man. He'll go all over the place for him. He went to Seattle for one recently.
That'd be pretty cool. Be probably cold and rainy most of the time, but probably pretty cool. Yeah.
But he did it like late summer-ish, I want to say. So it was like, why not?
Yeah, why the heck not? I don't know. I'm doing all right though. How are you? I never want to miss the how are you, James. You asked me.
That's good because you already did it, and I once again say I'm okay.
Oh, I did?
Yep, that's
my
all
brain's
right.
fried. My brain's fried. I'm ready to go back to work.
You know who else's brain is fried? Anybody that's hoping that they can stay on the practice squad all season long and not have to worry about their job.
That's true.
As Pittsburgh made a couple roster moves on the back end of the practice squad this week, we saw the addition of linebacker Caleb Johnson and tight end Scotty Washington to the practice squad. In order to make room, they released offensive lineman Obina Easy and tight end Noah Gindorf. A little bit of inside info on this Scotty Washington, probably the more notable of the two. He is a former college wide receiver who was, a few years ago, like 3 years ago or so, was he a rookie? I want to say it was the 2020 class. When he came out, he weighed 217 at the NFL Combine. He's now 247. But he's a move tight end, and the Steelers happen to be playing against Evan Ingram this week. So it appears as though he was brought in to emulate Evan Ingram in practice and give them a good look at what it would look like to try to cover a guy that quick.
Yeah. Caleb Johnson, the linebacker that we brought in, did run a 4.44 40 in his pro day, which is important to note. Smaller in size, but his stats and everything, like his jumping ability and all that kind of stuff, kind of makes up for it. Not sure exactly, why they're bringing a linebacker. We do know that we're dealing with some injuries with Cole Holcomb having an ankle injury. He was full participation all week, however. So there's some things going on there. We're not sure what their plan is with him. So we'll just see. Could just be another body. They could be worried about injuries with that linebacker position. We've seen injuries all the time. Speaking of injuries, Cam Hayward did return to practice, opening up his 21-day window to return from the injured reserve. So that's exciting. Yeah, we need him back big time. And he was full participation today. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He was limited yesterday. Full participation in practice today, not listed as a game status yet. And we are going to roll over into those injuries. There are three guys that I'm going to talk about. I'm only going to go out of order for this just a little bit to talk about these three guys. The three guys that are listed as questionable for the game have me concerned, James. One is Levi Wallace with a foot injury. I'm not worried about that, quite frankly. The second one is James Pierre. Good special teams guy, good gunner. Could come in and play in a pinch if we needed him to, but listed as questionable. And then Joey Porter Jr., that's where I start getting concerned, not only because of the name, but because that's three cornerbacks that are listed as questionable for this game.
Not to mention, not just three corners, but three outside corners.
Yep.
It's not like this is a couple outside guys and a slot guy. This is all three of them are outside guys. So hopefully at least one or two of them can go. Otherwise, you're definitely going to see Darius Rush this week.
Yes, sir.
If all three of them couldn't go for some reason, wow, man, we'd be in some serious trouble. They might even call somebody up from the practice squad.
You'd have to. Yeah. Because you'd have Pat Peterson probably playing outside. Darius Rush would probably come in and honestly play nickel.
I think what they do, they probably put Elijah Riley at nickel. And
That's fair. Coming down from
then
safety.
The other dude, they just let him play outside and hope for the best. The guy from the Vikings. Yeah. That would be my guess, is they'd have the Vikings dude.
Do we still have Anthony? No, Anthony Brown was signed off the practice squad. Yeah. He's gone. Mm-hmm. Okay. So interesting facts there. Let's go through the rest of this. Patrick Peterson's listed on the injury thing. He was just resting. Same thing with Isaac Seumalo. We'll get those two out of the way. Anthony McFarland listed with a knee injury, did participate all week. Fantastic news.
There's still a spot on the roster for him, too. They can call him up if they want to.
There is. Cole Holcomb, we already talked about, full participation all week with an ankle injury. Nate Herbig was out with an illness. He full participated the last 2 days. Deontay Johnson with his hamstring injury didn't do anything on Wednesday, didn't do anything on Thursday. Full participation today. That is phenomenal. We already talked about Cam Hayward. Larry Ogunjobi, the defensive tackle with a shoulder injury. Nothing on Wednesday, didn't participate on Thursday, full participation today. So that's going in the right direction. And then the other big concerning one, James, here is the outside linebacker, TJ Watt. The man, the myth, the legend himself, heel injury, didn't participate the last 2 days, and then, or 2 days prior to this week or today, and then limited participation on Friday. So,
yeah. So that's one of those nagging things, man, that might bug him the rest of the year, which sucks because he's not going to get his best chance of healing up is going to be after a Thursday night game.
Yep.
Luckily, they have two of them
next week. Titans, right?
Yeah, this upcoming week is a Thursday. So it's Sunday in a couple days here, and then a Thursday game shortly thereafter.
And he might, he might do the same thing where he won't practice 2 days and then practice probably the day before the game.
Yeah. Pretty much a required thing for Tomlin. If you're going to play, you have to practice the last day.
Yeah. So excited for that. Let's go ahead and you want to go over the Jacksonville Jaguars injuries here. There's a few that are already listed out and a couple questionables.
Yeah. So first one, Tyson Campbell. That's one of their starting outside cornerbacks. He's listed with a hamstring injury, has been limited in practice all week long. Their free safety, Andre Sisco, also has a hamstring, also has been limited in practice all week long. Staying within the position, Gregory Jr., also a cornerback, also a hamstring, full participant all week, but has been listed as out. So they're down 2 corners, possibly down 1 at least for sure. Defensive tackle, Devon Hamilton. I understand he's missed a lot of time so far this season. Full participant already all week long with a back injury. Wide receiver Zay Jones has a knee, did not participate all week and is out. So minus one of their top guys there. Trevor Lawrence has that knee. He's been limited all week long. He will play.
He will play. 100%.
He's playing. Yeah. Offensive tackle Walker Little also limited all week long, also with a knee. Also questionable. That one probably a little more actually reasonably questionable.
Yeah.
And then their last one, Brandon Scherf, a guard, limited in week limited and work all week long with an ankle, also limited, also listed as questionable. So some possible game time decisions with a couple of these guys already out. Banged up offensive line, banged up secondary for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, potential for Pittsburgh to take advantage of a couple things there. I mean, especially if you lose TJ Watt, there's a chance you can still get some pressure. Bring Cam back. You know, if Cam's able to come back for this game and play, that's huge. A lot of potential things that could happen here with this. Now moving over and talking about their depth chart, looking at where they're at. Obviously on offense, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, he's going to play. He's having a phenomenal year. If I'm not mistaken, he's thrown 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. I believe that's the number.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so he's having himself a decent year. The wide receivers here, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones are listed as the starters. Again, Zay Jones is already out. So they're probably going to be looking at Calvin Ridley, Elijah Cooks, Tim Jones, and Jamal Agnew are the guys there. Parker Washington, another name on this team, James, we're very familiar with. The wide receiver out of Penn State. Rookie year, not a whole lot of stats right now. I don't think he's actually played except for on special teams potentially. But anyways, he's on the roster. He could get some playing time. Offensive line, you got guys Walker Little at left tackle, Tyler Shatley at left guard, Luke Fortner at center, Brandon Sheriff, which we talked about the injury at the right guard position, and Anton Harrison at that right tackle position. So interesting offensive lineman. He's also injured, if I'm not mistaken. So then you have Cole Van Lanen taking his spot after that. And then obviously the tight end that we already talked about as well, Evan Ingram, very capable tight end, and Luke Farrell, and then also Brenton Strange on the team, another guy we talked about outside of the draft. Very capable tight end group. I think Trevor Lawrence is probably top 5 guys in the NFL utilizing his tight ends in the passing game. So interesting to see what's going to happen there. You want to look at the defense?
Not before mentioning the running back.
Oh, Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Travis Etienne, one heck of a running back, a very explosive guy. Real quick, the right tackle, Anton Harrison, that's the rookie right tackle out of Alabama. Yeah. So he was in the same draft class here with Broderick Jones. That does mean that TJ Watt is going to have himself a rookie offensive tackle to go against. I love that for a matchup. I imagine that they're probably going to be doing a lot of chipping. They list Luke Farrell as a starter alongside Evan Ingram at tight end. And my guess is Luke Farrell is basically going to operate like a 6th offensive lineman on passing downs to help with TJ Watt. So I think this could be advantageous. Now, I understand that Trevor Lawrence is one of the fastest, like, snap to release guys in the NFL. Gets the ball out real fast. Almost nobody gets to him because of it. But you're talking about a left tackle with a knee injury and a right tackle that's a rookie. So I really like the opportunity there for our pass rushers. But that means our guys in the secondary need to have good coverage for the first couple of seconds. You need to make it so that Trevor Lawrence can't throw the ball right away.
Yep.
If he hits that third step in his drop and zips the ball out, nobody can get there that fast. So you got to make sure that coverage is tight early on, and Joey Porter Jr. is one of those guys that does that real well. So let's hope for the best on that. You look like you were looking something up there, Cody.
I was just curious to see if I could find the average snap to pass time, but I wasn't. They didn't have that listed anywhere.
That's all right. The defensive line will start. Big boys up front. Nose tackle Folorunso Farakasi, defensive end Roy Robertson Harris, and defensive end Adam Gotsis. Big boys. They run a 3-4. So the outside linebackers, you might have heard of these guys. Josh Allen, former first-round pick.
Not the quarterback.
Not the quarterback, but a highly skilled individual himself. The other outside linebacker, Trayvon Walker, former first-round draft pick, also highly skilled. And then the middle linebackers, Foyesade Olakun and Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd, also a high pick at middle linebacker, and has had a very sharp young career. So very formidable linebacker crew here for these guys for sure.
That linebacker crew, 9.5 sacks and 1 interception for the year.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So, I mean, 7 of those sacks are Josh Allen's, but still.
I mean, what can we say? 8 of ours are from TJ Watt. So. Yeah, very similar pick there for us. The corners, they've got 3 guys listed as starters: Darius Williams, Tyson Campbell, and Trey Herndon. I believe Trey Herndon is the nickel corner.
Yeah, and Tyson Campbell's out, so.
Yeah, so that would put either Monteric Brown or Christian Braswell in there starting for him most likely. Free safety Andre Sisco, he was also on the injured list, so if he can't go, Daniel Thomas listed it as his replacement. And then strong safety Rayshawn Jenkins. So some talent going on in that secondary as well, but they're a little banged up.
Yeah, Darius Williams was the guy that we talked about, older guy. We talked about on Wednesday when we did our Pro Sports Fans live show on the Pro Sports Fans app, PSF app. If you guys haven't downloaded it, go ahead and go download it. But already has 3 interceptions on the year and 2 forced fumbles. So he's having himself a year. A guy that you got to watch out for in the passing game for sure. And then we take a look here at the special teams. Brandon McManus is the kicker. Logan Cook, the holder and punter. Ross Matisic is the long snapper because they matter. And then sick. Long snap, punt return and kick returners Jamal Agnew with Parker Washington backing him up. Jamal Agnew is a speedy man at 5'2", 190 pounds. So we'll see if he gets any returns on us. Hopefully not. Hopefully we force a fumble. That's what I'm calling right now. Special teams force fumble. Nice. Let's go. That's
special teams wise, look out for that long snapper, man. Anybody who's got a name sick. I mean, that's a talented dude for sure. So
yeah, he doesn't have any touchdowns on the year as a long snapper, so that's good to know. Just saying stupid
baloney,
stuff,
man.
I know he's not trying hard enough. Clearly. So that's their depth chart. We're going to go over our 3 keys to success to making sure we leave with a victory on Sunday, or I should say we stay home. We're not leaving. They're coming to us. And also, before we even get to that point, I want to talk one thing real quick. For anyone that saw the news, Trevor Lawrence disrespected the terrible towel. The only reason I'm giving this attention is so that you guys understand where James and I are. We are not going to come on here and flame up something that's not even there. I watched the interview, and he was just asked, hey, do you know about the terrible towels in Pittsburgh? And he's like, oh, yeah, those little yellow towels. It was made out to seem like he said it disrespectfully. He didn't. He went on to talk about how Pittsburgh has an aurora around them as a city, as a team, as a stadium, that he's excited to play there. It's like checking off one of the cool stadiums in the NFL. Very respectful about Pittsburgh and their just their environment and the vibe that we have. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if anything, he was complimenting the city and the tradition and everything.
Drastically.
So, yeah, being drastically overblown by some folks in the media. Big surprise.
Clickbait.
What's not clickbait is our 3 keys to success. Cody, do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can go first this time.
All right.
Just because I have one that I think might be the same, and so I want to change it if it is.
Okay, very fair, very fair. My first key to success. We're going against a highly skilled quarterback. I want to see 27 points or more by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That would be the highest mark for them on the entire season.
Yep.
I think if you can put up 27 or more, you're going to win this game. At least you're going to have a really good chance to it. Number 2, still around the thing of that quarterback, I want to see the defensive line get sacks this game. I'm excluding TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith in this. I'm saying I want to see Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton, DeMarvin Leal.
Cam
I
Hayward.
want to see these guys get after the quarterback. Man, I'd love it if Cam was back. This prediction looks a lot sexier if Cam comes off the injured list tomorrow. But we'll find out because they always activate people from the IR on Saturdays. So look for that. If anything happens with Anthony McFarland or Cam Hayward, it'll happen tomorrow. Number 3 key for me, Kenny Two Gloves with 2 TDs. I'm looking for him to get 2 touchdowns again. Now, I don't care if he gets 1 scrambling or 1 passing, both scrambling, both passing, any combination of it. I want 2 TDs from our team leader on offense this week.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. We don't have any of the same keys to success, so that's good. My first key to success is going to be
win the turnover battle.
No, I'm not using that one. That's always a key to success. You win the turnover battle, you win games.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a 90% rate.
It's probably pretty close. It might be lower, honestly. Some games are just weird. Anyways, my first key to success is continue to pound the rock. We got to see what Pittsburgh was able to do last week. We went from having 0 rushing touchdowns on the year to 3 in one game. I'm calling for 3 again. I'm calling for 3 rushing touchdowns. Woo! I don't care if it's Najee. I don't care if it's Jaylen Warren. I don't care if it's Kenny Pickett. I don't care if it's Calvin Austin on an end around. I don't care. 3 rushing touchdowns. Hey, you never know. 3 rushing touchdowns. Second key to success for me is allow Kenny Pickett to make the play calls. Continue to give Kenny Pickett more control of this offense. We talked about it on the Ravens game that he audibled out. I want to see Kenny Pickett kind of take control. And it's hard to tell. This is a hard key to success in order to say, oh, yeah, this happened or not. But I'm hoping that it does happen, is that Kenny Pickett audibles out of things if he doesn't like the reads. I think that he's finally getting into a comfortable rhythm again this year to do that. And I think we saw that, every time that he sees George Pickens one-on-one, he audibles George Pickens or throws it to him if he's, one-on-one, because he knows he's going to get that back shoulder throw. Last key to success. James, you're going to like this one. Next man up. I want to see somebody take a step up, whether it's a corner, whether it's Darius Rush coming in and having to play corner, whether it's even at this point, I would still consider Joey Porter Jr. next man up mentality kind of thing. He's not the starter quite yet. At least not the entire game. So I want to see whether it's the secondary, whether it's, we're talking about Elijah Riley coming in and potentially playing in the cornerback position. Same thing on the offensive side of the ball. If we have injuries to the offensive line, if certain things have to happen, I know we're not dealing with anything specifically right now, but there's been times where, injury happens in the middle of the game. Next man up's got to come in and play well. That's my thing. I don't care where it comes from. Honestly, Rodney Williams get a touchdown. I would be stoked.
He's going to play.
I would be stoked. At this point, same thing with Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington needs the score. Next man up mentality. We're still dealing with the Pat Freiermuth stuff. Deontay Johnson probably going to play, but if not, next man up, technically Calvin Austin. Next man up mentality. Get involved. Do something. Make routine plays routinely.
I like it, man. I like it. How about routinely throw to the tight end?
The start. That's how you kind of get them involved in the middle of the field. You got anything else before we end the show, James?
No. I think that covers it pretty well, man. I'm excited for this week's game. It's I think this has the potential to be a fun, high-scoring game.
It does. Real excited. Make sure if you're in Pittsburgh, you wave your little yellow towels. We're super excited for this game. We'll be waving them at home. If you guys haven't, again, remember to download the Pro Sports Fans app, PSF on your phone or mobile device, whatever you're using. You can download it on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. We have a live show on there called Midweek Mayhem every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8. We just kind of talk about anything and everything. If you guys can live comment on there, talk to us, share thoughts with us. Same thing with on these posts. You can comment on them, tell us your 3 keys to success. If not for this game, for next game. If you share your stuff with us, we'll share it on the podcast. We'll happily talk about you on the podcast. And by the way, my manager did not say my pleasure. He made sure to bring that up the other day. He's like, I don't think I said that. Remember when we talked about my manager at work? Good old Mike Evans, not the one from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Not Mike Evans.
not that Mike Evans. He's not quite that tall.
Not the real Mike Evans.
He's the real Mike
Evans.
Evans.
Is that his Twitter handle? Not the real Mike Evans?
No. I don't know if he has Twitter. I'll have to ask him. But again, thank you guys so much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. On x.com because it's not Twitter. But you still go to twitter.com and it goes to X. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe and ring the bell. It's free. And until next time, this is your host, James and Cody, signing off.
Peace.